Namaste to everyone. Namaste to all our participants. Namaste, Dr. Ghazala ji. Namaste to all our viewers on this live stream. We are on day 12 of the Faculty Development Program. And now we will be exploring the essence of Unani from very special and very special person, Dr. Ghazala ji. Namaste. Very grateful to have you with us for this session. I just wanted to take this opportunity to introduce you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dr.
Good
Ghazala.
afternoon, everyone. Yeah, am I audible? Good afternoon, everyone.
Oh, yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dr. Ghazala Javed is an alumni of the Jamia Hamdard and has an excellent academic record and has received a gold medal and certificate of merit during her graduation and post-graduation in Unani medicine. She has also done PG certificate courses in hospital management from National Institute of Health and Family Welfare, New Delhi. Dr. Ghazala Javed is working as a research officer, a Unani scientist level 4 in the Central Council for Research in Unani Medicine, CCRUM, at New Delhi, where she is engaged in research, clinical programs, and IC related activities. During her tenure of 8 years in the Ministry of Ayush, that is Government of India, she looked after the work related to international cooperation and actively contributed to globalization of Ayush systems. During her tenure of 8 years in the Ministry of Ayush, that's at the Government of India, she looked after the work related to international cooperation and actively contributed to globalization of Ayush systems. She has an expertise in bioethics, protection of traditional knowledge, and intellectual property rights, in which she is formally trained. She has many times represented the Government of India in intergovernmental committee meetings at WIPO and CBD at international levels. She has the honor of featuring as the face of Unani in the book India's Most Powerful Women, written by Ms. Prem Ahluwalia, where she features along with eminent personalities. She has been conferred Make in India Award for brilliant contribution in the field of Unani medicine in the year 2018. Very blessed and privileged to have you, ma'am. And without further ado, I will just hand the session over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that kind introduction. Indeed, it's an honor to be here in this faculty development program. So I'll just share my slide.
Sure. Stop share. Yeah.
Is it visible now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'll just make it full screen. Good to go?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Okay. So as was just informed, I'm here from CCRUM, that is Central Council for Research in Unani Medicine. And I'll be talking about Unani medicine in India. So what I've done, I've kept brief introduction of Unani medicine, its basic concepts and philosophies, diagnosis and treatment, so that those who are new to Unani medicine should have an idea what this system is all about. So this is the outline of my presentation, and moving ahead. So we define Unani medicine as a science of which we learn the various states of body in health and when not in health, and the means by which health is likely to be lost, and when lost is likely to be restored. So as its name suggests, it's originated in Greece and traveled across various continents, and today it's a well-developed traditional Indian system of medicine. And we can say today that India is the world leader in Unani system of medicine. And Hippocrates, as you can see, is the father of medicine also, and Unani medicine also. So what happened? I wanted to move slide. Yeah. So this system is based on the concept of four humors. I'm sure in the forenoon lecture, you must have heard about humors in Ayurveda also. So they talk about three humors. So we talk about four humors, that there are four kind of humors in human body: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. And balance between these humors results in health. And if there is any imbalance, disease happens. Then we have assigned certain qualities to these humors. For example, blood, we say it's hot and wet. Phlegm or balgam in Unani, we say it's wet and cold. Black bile is dry and cold, and yellow bile is hot and dry. So, for example, when in Unani system of medicine we analyze population, we classify it into four temperaments, I would say, four humors, and their symptoms, signs, symptoms, and their characteristics, I would rather say, would be based on the humor which is more prevalent in their human body. So there's certain set of questions which we'll be asking, and then diagnosis which kind of humor is more prevalent normally, and what is the temperament, and whether there's any imbalance or not. So, as I just mentioned, as per humors, we assigned four kind of temperament: Damvi, Balgami, Saudavi, and Safravi. So, and how this temperament comes into existence is by admixture of different elements and their qualities in specific ratio in a particular entity, whether living or non-living, and it denotes its temperament. So, this I mentioned. The temperament of a human being can be correlated with the temperament of diet, drugs, and environmental factors. So, temperament or mizaj, as we say in Unani, is not only limited to human beings only. So, a specific diet, specific drug, certain environmental factors will also have the effect on that temperament, and they'll be having a specific temperament. For example, if we talk about hot spices, they will be having hot temperament, so that will be beneficial for the person who has got cold temperament in their body more. So accordingly, that is advised. So any disturbance in the equilibrium of humors causes disease, and there is a treatment aims at restoring the equilibrium by given factors, including drugs of opposite temperament. What happened? Get stuck in between. Yeah. So there is also a concept of natural healing power in Unani system of medicine. So we say a Unani physician is basically assisting or strengthening this natural healing power, which every person is supposed to have, a unique humoral constitution which represents his healthy state, and to maintain correct balance, there's a power of self-preservation or adjustment called medicatrix naturae, or tabiyat mudabbir badan in the body. So we are strengthening this natural healing power in a person, and if this power weakens, imbalance in the humoral composition is bound to occur, and this causes diseases. The medicine used in this system, in fact, help the body regain this power to an optimum level and thereby restore humoral balance, thus retaining health. And also, correct diet and digestions are considered to maintain humoral balance. So, coming to diagnosis part, it is also based on the temperament assessment of the patient, heredity and environmental condition, different complaints, sign and symptoms of the body, external observations, examination of the pulse, urine and stool, etc. So that is also there. Then prevention of disease. So there's also one concept of 6 essential factors, which is called as Asbab-e-Sitta Zaruriya. So there are 6 essential factors in human body: air, food and drink, bodily movement and repose, psychic movement and repose, sleep and wakefulness, evacuation and retention. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And my slides are moving?
Yes, ma'am.
1 second, there's some urgent thing. What happened?
Phone area.
Can I take 1 minute break, please? What happened?
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah. Sorry for that inconvenience. So I'm back. I'm audible. Should I? Yeah, I want to continue.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So we were talking about prevention of disease. So in Unani system of medicine, there is a concept of 6 essential factors. There are 6 factors in a human body. Oh, sorry, there are 6 essential factors which are required for maintenance of health. So these are air, food and drink, bodily movement and repose, psychic movement and repose, sleep and wakefulness, evacuation and retention. Actually, these factors helps you in maintaining your daily routine or lifestyle. So, for example, we all know, if there's air is full of pollution or something, it will not be good for health. So air should be clean, pure, free of pollutants. Similarly, a balance in food and drink should be there. A person should eat proper nutritious diet, and drinks also should be chosen as per his or her temperament. Same way, it's about bodily movement and repose. So you have to have a balance between physical movement and exercises you do. So for example, if you're doing your work style is sedentary in nature, you need to have a balance, how many times you're sitting on a chair and what kind of physical movements you are doing. So there will be interventions based on bodily movement and repose also. Same with psychic movement and repose. So mental work, if you're doing in excess, or you are in stress, or you're any emotional impact is there, and there is no rest, or you're continuously working, some mental work is there, you need to have balance in that also. So that will take care of mental health, and it will take care of mental problems also. Same with sleep and wakefulness, that you should have a balance in sleep and wakefulness also as per your temperance. So you should have a sound sleep, and then you should not feel too sleepy when you are awake. So during when you are awake, then also you should be full of energy, and then for that you need to catch proper sleep. So if there's any imbalance in that, a physician will be treating that aspect also. Coming to the sixth one, that is evacuation and retention. That is the whatever nutritious diets or whatever fluid you are taking, you are able to retain the healthy nutrition in your body, and you are able to evacuate the waste products. So if you are not able to evacuate waste products from your body, that will lead to disease. So your daily routine or your lifestyles are based on these 6 essential factors, and therefore main emphasis on this, that it is important for maintenance of health. Then then lifestyle disorders like depression, hypertension, coronary heart disease, obesity, which are the major health burden of present times, can be successfully, economically, and safely prevented by following the instructions with regard to these essential factors. One by one, if we take, air is most crucial factor for life. It helps in the production and maintenance of pneuma, which is the source of vitality. And air is the medium of most of the external factors affecting life and health. So Unani system of medicine uses air in prevention and treatment, chiefly by taking into account the seasonal variations in air. For instance, in summer, the air becomes hotter, so cold food and moderate movement and exercise should be adopted to remain healthy. So coming to food and drink, food is second only to air in maintaining life and health by replacing the body's used up and broken down components. And Unani system of medicine makes extensive use of diet, and that branch is called Ilaj Bil Ghiza. I have one slide on that also, for promotion of health and treatment of disease. So we identify appropriate food by using the principle of temperament, and similarly drink, especially water, is crucial. And Unani system of medicine provides extensive guidelines for the type of water and the appropriate time for drinking it. Then coming to bodily movement and repose, which we call as Harkat Sukoon Badni, Unani system of medicine gives great importance in that. I informed that why it is important, and movement is necessary and exercise is necessary. Then psychic movement and repose also, I spoke about it. So in Unani medicine, it considers heart as a seat of pneuma and the soul, nafs, while brain as a seat of psychic faculties. So hence mental states described by Unani medicine in terms of psychic movement and repose especially affect heart and brain functions also. So these three are interlinked to each other. So we need to have a balance in this. Same, I spoke about sleep and wakefulness. Then evacuation and retention. I just mentioned that it is important to evacuate waste products from the body, and retention of nutrients is needed for health and prevention of the diseases. Principles of treatment in Unani medicine aims at removal of the causative factor. Whatever causative factors in the pathology to disease process are determined and removed for the proper management of the disease. Then normalization of the morbid temperament. The disease in which the temperament of a person is altered without affecting the quality and quantity of humors. They are achieved simply by modifying the lifestyles of the patient in the light of description of the essential and non-essential factors in the literature of Unani system of medicine. So basically, in the management of the systematic diseases, the entire lifestyle and the constitution of the patient is taken into account for making diagnosis and prescribing correct treatment. So it includes habits, habitat, physical, emotional, temperamental, and humoral status of the patient, and condition of system, organ of the body involved. So taking all these factors into account, the treatment of the disease is prescribed. So we are adopting a holistic approach. And there are three primary sources of the drugs in Unani system of medicine. Drug substances are obtained from herbal, animal, and mineral resources for the medication purposes in the natural form. So 90 to 95%, or I would say almost 98% are herbal drugs which we are using. It's basically based medicinal plants, and a small amount of mineral and animal, like some ghee preparations or honey or something like that. Sometimes these drugs are used in simple form and sometimes in the form of a compound of various drugs. And it uses natural substances in treatment, this system. These are the types of treatment available: with diet, dietotherapy or Ilaj-Bil Ghaza, then pharmacotherapy with dawa, and then we prefer using single drugs first to treat a disease. So if we are not able to treat the disease with single drugs, first with diet, then we come to single drugs. Then if single drugs is not able to manage that disease, then we'll opt for compound drugs. So our compound formulations are usually in the form of Majun, Jawarish, Sharbat, Khamira. So they are in paste form. Sometimes we ask patient to take decoction. And the another part is Ilaj with Tadbir, or we call it as regimental therapy. Some of the examples are cupping, where you are applying cups to create vacuum pressures over there. And then leeching, where we apply leeches, massage, venesection. And third type of treatment which we adopt is surgery, and we do very minor surgery. It's not very major one, very minor. Then regimen therapy and dietherapy, as I just mentioned, are the first preference, followed by pharmacotherapy and surgery. Then psychiatric treatment is also used in Unani system of medicine, because we laid great emphasis on this, because because psych will have a direct influence on human body. This is most popular and preferred methods of treatment, and we are giving a systematic plan, or we are making a treatment plan for the person, and then through which we modulate the lifestyles for preservation of health and treatment of diseases. So there are many regimens which are mentioned in the classical literature, and we use it like cupping, massage, leeching, venesection, purgation, emesis, diuresis, enema, diaphoresis, expectoration, counter irritation, sitz bath. So the proper procedure is laid down in our classical literature, which is adopted and followed by the physician as per the need of the patient. This is like wet cupping and leeching pictures. Then diet therapy aims at preventing and treating certain ailments by administration of specific diets. And in addition to nutritional properties, various foods have pharmacological actions too. For example, many foods are laxative, diuretic, and diaphoretic, and they are advised as per the problem that particular person have. So food is your medicine, and sometimes, we have to adopt that approach also. As per the disease and as per the temperament of the person, we can tell what kind of diet is advisable for that particular person. Pharmacotherapy, I just mentioned here and informed that we are preferring single drugs first and then going to compound formulation. And yes, we have to take care of the temperament of the patient as well as the temperament of the drug which we are using. So in a nutshell, here in the introductory part, Unani medicine gives more importance to maintenance of health and prevention of disease rather than treatment. It is completely in a completely healthy person. It prescribes lifestyle, diet, and environment appropriate for his or her temperament. While in healthy but weak person or healthy persons who have become vulnerable to disease, special diets, non-drug manipulations or regimens, and even drugs are prescribed to maintain health and prevent disease. So basic mantra which we adopt is to correct the humoral imbalance in a person by proper diet and medication, and the physician prescribe drugs according to the temperament of patient, causative humor, faculty of organ involved, and severity of the disease. So coming to next part now, the current scenario in India. So this was all, fundamentals of Unani system of medicine, which I was talking. So today, Unani system of medicine is an integral part of national healthcare delivery system in India. So it came in India in 8th century and developed as a comprehensive medical system, and it is practiced, taught, and scientifically documented in different parts of the country and flourished as a scientific medical system. So we have a wide network of quality educational institution, comprehensive health facilities, state-of-art research institutions. So today India has emerged as a global leader in Unani system of medicine. So during the 13th and 17th century, it has heyday in India, looking at the pre-independence era if we see. And during the British rule, Unani medicine suffered a setback and its development was hampered due to withdrawal of governmental patronage. So there were key contributions and push to traditional system of medicine, including Unani medicine. Mahatma Gandhi, father of the nation, a firm believer of indigenous system of medicine. So we got the desired social and political push. And during the Indian National Congress in Nagpur session in 1920, so this I'm talking about pre-independence era, a resolution was passed that in India, earnest and definite efforts should be made by the people of the country to further popularize schools, colleges, and hospitals for instruction and treatment with the indigenous systems. And the interim government, under the leadership of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, passed a strongly worded resolution adopted by the Health Minister Conference held from 10 to 12 October 1946 at New Delhi regarding training and research in indigenous system of medicine. So this is Hakim Ajmal Khan. He's a freedom fighter and a philanthropist and educationist. And he was a strong supporter of Ayush system of medicine, and he's the founder member of Jamia Millia Islamia University in Delhi and also in Aligarh Muslim University. He also has passed this that in one of the conferences he has said that it is not I who aim at praising the Unani system of medicine, but the whole world recognizes that the Unani medicine traveled across the globe and it made tremendous progress and produced great physicians and scholars who, in spite of flux of time, still shine, and I'm confident. So it was at that time, due to his effort, Unani could be saved. So he had established when this Hindustani Davakhana and Ayurvedic and Unani Tibbiya College in Delhi, Karol Bagh, this in Aligarh. In southern India, Hakim Sayyid Niyamatullah has done work to popularize Unani system of medicine. In Delhi, Hakim Abdul Hamid, he's the founder of Jamia Hamdard. I'm alumni of this Jamia Hamdard. It's my alma mater. So I've done my graduation and post-graduation from Jamia Hamdard only. This is the university. So he founded this and many graduates and postgraduates passed from this university also. So post-independence, government established many committees, to look into the development of this traditional system of medicine. This is the timeline which I'm showing. The organization from which I am coming. So it was basically a combined council for all the systems in 1969, and in 1978 to give more focused approach to all the systems. For example, Ayurveda, Unani, homeopathy, yoga, and naturopathy. It was bifurcated in 1978. So as we all know, in 2014, this government has upgraded to give it more focus to ministry level. Earlier it was department. From 2014 onwards, it has become Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, and all the research councils are working for the development of, and other institutes for the development of these systems. So education and healthcare is monitored by this needs some change. It is monitored by NISIS, that is National Commission of Indian System of Medicine. Somehow it got, I couldn't update this. CCIM is not there, but in its place, it's NISISM, National Commission for Indian System of Medicine, which is function, and erstwhile CCIM was monitoring the regulatory aspect of education. So graduation course is there in Unani System of Medicine, which is called as BUMS, Bachelor for Unani Medicine and Surgery. And there's a postgraduate course, Doctor of Medicine and Master of Surgery. And PhD courses are also available. Then, so today it is an integral part of National Healthcare Delivery System. Currently, we have 57 colleges, 39 undergraduate colleges, 15 postgraduate colleges. And CCRM is also offering postgraduate colleges through its peripheral institutes. And we have one National Institute of Unani Medicine. This is the admission capacity, 3,652 per annum undergraduate courses, and in 319 in postgraduate courses. This is a snapshot of Unani medical care facilities available, taken from Ayush in India. So we have 43,959 registered Unani practitioners, 566 Unani drug manufacturing units, this much hospital dispensaries. This is coming to the research infrastructure. We have one Central Council for Research in Unani Medicine, the organization from which I am coming. I also just spoke about National Institute of Unani Medicine. This is based in Bangalore. It's the grey color building below, and this upper building, this is in Delhi, where all the research councils of each system, Ayurveda, Unani, Yoga, and Naturopathy, Homeopathy, are housed. Only Siddha is in Chennai. So otherwise, government has placed us at one building so that we can have interactions with each other and we can learn from each other. And we also believe in intra-Ayush collaborations. This again, National Institute of Unani Medicine, Bangalore. This is offering, this is a model PhD teaching, training and research in Unani System of Medicine. Coming to Central Council for Research in Unani Medicine, its vision is to strive for excellence and global leadership in the field of Unani medicine by comprehensive research for quality assured, cost-effective products to prevent, manage, cure, and various diseases. This is the mission to develop CCRM into a dynamic, vibrant, and model research organization to bring up modern scientific knowledge, technology, and explore classical Unani scientific treasures by following prevalent scientific methods, and to attain global leadership in research for treatment and prevention of emerging diseases and public health importance. This is our institutional network. So we have one National Research Institute in Hyderabad, one Central Research Institute in Lucknow. We have 8 regional research institutes in Chennai, Bhadrak, Patna, Aligarh, Mumbai, Srinagar, Kolkata, and New Delhi. 2 regional research centers in Allahabad and Silchar, 6 central research units, and 1 literary research unit in New Delhi. As you know, our knowledge and text is based on classical literature. So it is very important for us to protect and preserve our manuscripts and classical literature and translate them into, various languages prevalent today, like English, Hindi, and other foreign languages also. So this institute of ours is presently housed in Jamia Millia Islamia, is working on that aspect. Then we have drug standardization research unit in New Delhi, one in Ghaziabad, and chemical research unit in Aligarh. This is a snapshot of our state-wise network. So almost we are there in all the zones of India. This is our National Research Institute of Unani Medicine for Skin Disorders, Hyderabad. And I'm happy to say that I am the nodal officer of this institute. And this institute is dedicatedly working on skin disorders, especially vitiligo, psoriasis, etc. So earlier it was Central Research Institute. Because of its work, government has upgraded it to National Research Institute. So this is one of our premium institute. Then there is upcoming infrastructure of Unani coming. There's one research institute coming up at Silchar, Assam, one at Mumbai, and then we are developing a National Institute of Unani Medicine at Ghaziabad, which is basically a satellite campus of NM Bengaluru. And one proposal for one research institute for NCD's Faridabad is under consideration. It's at very initial stages. Then these are the research program activities of CCRU. So we are doing clinical and clinical pharmacology research, fundamental research, drug standardization research program, survey and cultivation of medicinal plants, literary research program, IC activities and public health program. So in preclinical studies, objective is to conduct toxicological, pharmacological studies for classical as well as new drugs. These are being conducted in our two centers, one at Hyderabad and another one at Srinagar. So the problems are related to these two institutes. Then these are the snapshots of some of our pharmacology laboratory. This has been developed under the DST project, where you can see our officers working. Then we are also engaged in clinical research program. Main objective is to document the safety and efficacy of pharmacopoeia classical Unani drugs and new drug development for emerging diseases and diseases of national importance. Then we are also into collaborative research, which is proposals are called under expression of interest schemes, and basically to establish firm links with state-of-art institutions of excellence. And we are making use of the expertise available and the facility available in the collaborative institutes, and our officers work with them to generate adequate statistical data to support claims of efficacy and safety. And basically we are scientifically exploring also, because we believe that it's a dynamic knowledge which keeps on developing. These are some of the important collaborative institutes with which we are working. NIPER Hyderabad, AIMS, Jadavpur University, Kolkata, NMIM School of Pharmacy, Mumbai, Aligarh Muslim University, Bharati Vidyapeeth University, RGKR Medical College, Kolkata, Jamia Hamdard, Jamia Millia Islamia, Vallabhbhai Patel Chess Institute, Delhi University, Mumbai University, Jawaharlal Nehru University, UCMS New Delhi, and Chhatrapati Shahuji Maharaj Medical University, and many more. This is a snapshot of some collaborative institutes. Same. Then we are also into fundamental research program. This is a bit unique to this system. For example, I just mentioned about fundamentals, that there are 4 humors in human body, and then we assign 4 kind of temperament in human populations. So while a person is coming, so we try to provide scientific basis to the fundamentals of Unani system of medicine, and to validate the theories of fundamental research in the light of genetic, biochemical, physiological, and pathological parameters, and thereby correlating theories of fundamental research with modern biology. These are the recent research trends. We are into new drug development for emerging diseases like anti-dengue, anti-cancer drugs, evaluation of efficacy of Unani drugs in neurodegenerative diseases like dementia, redesigning of dosage forms of the Unani drugs, especially for diabetic population, because most of our formulations, they are sugar based, khamiras and sharbat. So, and as we know, diabetic cases are increasing. So we are making this effort to redesign the dosage form, especially for our diabetic population. And then finding prophylactic solution for lifestyle disorders, immunomodulatory role of Unani drugs, shelf life studies of various Unani formulations, and public health related activities. Significant lead which we have achieved is in vitiligo, hepatitis, sinusitis, bronchial asthma, rheumatoid arthritis, eczema, psoriasis, duodenal ulcers, and filariasis. And CCRUM has been granted 17 patents and 7 patents have been applied for. We are also into technology transfer, so in touch with industry and doing it for the benefit of society. Then to maintain standards in drugs, so we have drug standardization research program also, where we are evolving pharmacopoeial standards of single drug and Unani formulations included in various volume of National Formulary of Unani Medicine and Essential Drug List. So national formulary is basically the document where you can see what ingredients are there and how a particular drug can be manufactured and what is the dose and what are the indication that is mentioned in National Formulary of Unani Medicines. So we are estimating what was required, like heavy metals, microbial load, aflatoxin contents, and we have upgraded our laboratories with state-of-art instruments which are available there. These are the pictures of some of the books, Unani Pharmacopoeia of India, cover pages. Then this is a national formulary. Then these are our drug testing laboratory at our Regional Research Institute in Chennai, in Ghaziabad. Then we are also into survey and cultivation of medicinal plants. So this is also done through our peripheral institutes, where folklore claims are collected and documented as per process due procedure. Then, as I just mentioned, one of our institute is fully dedicated to do literary research program, because most of our classical texts and documents, they are very old and we need to protect them. But under this program, we are translating Unani classical books, we are maintaining a database of Unani manuscripts, and we have also developed standard Unani medical terminology. So basically, Unani medicine, we need to have standards how I am defining a particular term, or other Unani physician is defining, either in India or in some other country. So there should be a uniformity in that. So we have developed standards for that. Then we have also compiled standard Unani treatment guidelines, compilation of books, database of postgraduate studies, reprinting of rare Unani classical books, and multilingual dictionary also. So these are some of the journals. Our journals are listed in UGC care list. So we have included it in that. So we have one in English, Hippocratic Journal of Unani Medicine, and one in Urdu, Jahan-e-Tim. We bring out CCRU newsletters also, and annual report also. These are available on our websites. Then these are, as per program also, we brought out the publication. For example, under drug standardization research program, we have NFUM, National Formula of Unani Medicine, pharmacopoeias, physico-chemical standards, standardization of single drugs, chemical investigation of some Unani medicinal plants, chemistry of medicinal plants, same in survey and cultivation of medicinal plants. Then we bring out publications under clinical research program, information, education, and communication also for public and masses. So we are also into public health and outreach activities. So we run a mobile clinical research programs, and our council researchers are providing healthcare to the population residing in rural areas, urban slums, scheduled castes and scheduled tribe pockets. Whatever the mandate provided by government, we carry out that. Then we have also integrated Unani medicine with national program for prevention and control of cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and stroke. This project was initiated through the Central Research Institute of Unani Medicine. It's based in Lucknow, and we are doing it with our colleagues in Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The project is there, and then we have integrated that. Then there's, as I just mentioned, scheduled caste sub-plan and tribal sub-plan. As per the mandate provided by ministry, we carry out this. Then Swasthya Rakshan program. Then standardization and control of Unani and quality control of Unani drugs. So government has established Pharmacopoeia Commission for Indian Medicine 2010 and to develop pharmacopoeia standards, Unani, Ayurveda and Siddha drugs, and to publish Unani, Ayurvedic and Siddha Pharmacopoeia. So we have one dedicated Unani Pharmacopoeia committee. So they're working and advising and guiding on pharmacopoeia standards in respect of single and compound Unani drugs. It consists of experts of Unani system of medicine, chemistry, botany, and pharmacology. And we have developed standards of 298 single and 200 compound drugs. So basically, these are the legal documents, standard published by CCRU, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. Then we are also integrating in clinical practice. So major central government allopathic hospitals, for example, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Safdarjung Hospital. We have Unani medical centers in these hospitals. So there we are examining the patient and we are working there, and we have dedicated OPTs over there. And we provide, specialized Unani treatment for some selected disorders like vitiligo, eczema, psoriasis, rheumatoid arthritis, bronchial asthma, sinusitis, infective hepatitis, diabetes, mellitus. So we are very much there, co-location part. Then I just mentioned that CCRUM also offer postgraduate courses through its two institutes, one in Hyderabad and one in Srinagar. So there are 18 seats available in MD medicine and 18 seats available in pharmacology, 9 at each center. And similarly, we are also offering PhD program. Then we are also bringing standards in healthcare services and moving towards NAPH accreditation, and our institutes in Bangalore and NRMSD are already NABH accredited and others are in process. Then our drug manufacturing units are good, are GMP certified. And one more drug manufacturing unit has been set up at RRIM Chennai, and one drug testing laboratory, RRIM Chennai and SRU Ghaziabad. And we are also into NABL accreditation. Coming to the global scenario and international cooperation, so from CCRUM, our respected Director General has gone along with the respected Secretary Ayush to Iran, and they had a bilateral discussion, and MOM for cooperation in the field of traditional medicine has been signed between Ministry of Ayush and Ministry of Health and Medical Education. Then an MOU for cooperation in the field of traditional medicine has been signed between CCRUM and Avicenna Tajik State Medical University, Dushanbe, Tajikistan. And we had signed 2 MOUs for establishing Unani academic chair. So one at Bangladesh, chair will be going soon, and in South Africa, we had established at University of Western Cape, and one chair was there for almost 3 years. They had them in developing the curriculum for Unani system of medicine, and they propagated. And so we are also into WHO related initiatives. And our officers are also involved in working group meetings as per the mandate provided by the competent authorities. So we are developing benchmarks for training and practice in Unani medicine. Training was already there, but it is also a revision process. It basically helps, in providing training in other countries, and we are also developing benchmarks for international Unani terminology. So WHO is developing, and our officers, they provide their input. Same, we have WHO represented in our conferences. This I already informed. Published standard Unani terminologies. So we also played active role during COVID-19 pandemic. So just to show what we did, we conducted 7 studies as per the mandate provided to us. So our officers, they conducted population-based perspective study on effectiveness and outcome of Unani medicine, then prophylactic intervention of Unani medicine on high moderate risk population. Then add-on study we did with one center at ANU Tibio College, Karol and one at Safdarjung also. Then we also did in silico screening of 4 different Unani formulation against SARS-CoV-2, and we standardized the Ayush Joshanda and standardized Unani Joshanda, which was being advocated for, immunity enhancement during this difficult time of COVID-19. So these are the publication which we brought out, and this has been uploaded on the National Repository on Ayush COVID-19. So these advisories were issued by ministry and CCRUM, so Unani medicine-based diet and lifestyle guidelines for promoting immunity during COVID-19 pandemic, and Unani medicine-based preventive measures for self-care during COVID-19 pandemic, and guidelines for Unani practitioners for COVID-19 patients in home isolation. These are available on the websites of Ministry of Ayush and CCRUM. So Ministry also has launched Ayush Sanjeevani app, which was basically for understanding the measures adopted by public for enhancing immunity and keeping themselves healthy in the difficult COVID-19 situation. And this also collected data related to Unani prophylactic measures. Then there was also COVID helpline in place for all the system. In this option 4 was for Unani. So similarly, our officers from councils were involved in distribution of Ayush 64 as per the mandate provided to us. Then we also played active role in Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, where there was distribution of Ayush prophylactic measure. From our council, we had distributed Khamira Marwari for boosting the immunity. These are some of our recent publications which we have brought out. Then infrastructure development. This is one of the institute in our Mumbai. It's ready, and here we are housed along with our homeopathy colleagues and friends. This we have constructed a pharmacy block in Aranayum, Chennai. This is the building coming up at Silchar. Then this is the upcoming satellite campus at NIM Ghaziabad. This is National Institute of Unani Medicine. Then we are also in Ayush Wellness Centers. So Ayush Health and Wellness Centers under Ayushman Bharat scheme launched by Honorable PM, and we suggest to deliver expanded range of comprehensive primary healthcare services to people. So total 12,500 Ayush Health Wellness Centers have to be upgraded. So training of master trainers on Unani has also been done on Ayush Health and Wellness Centers under Ayushman Bharat, and guidelines for community health officers Unani has been finalized. So there are 625 drug manufacturing units in total, and there is one Unani Drug Manufacturers Association, same as the Ayurveda Drug Manufacturers, which is functioning since 2017. So we are also on social media. We are on Facebook as Ayush Unani, and Twitter Ayush Unani, and Instagram, YouTube. So I'll just quickly show glimpses of some important landmark events. This is Honorable Union Minister for Ministry of Ayush, who this year only in September inaugurated BMS course at Gandhar College, Kashmir. He also visited our Peripheral Institute in Srinagar. Then our Honorable Minister and Honorable Secretary visited our headquarters in Delhi. This is our respected Director General along with Honorable Minister leading him to our headquarters. So this is again the visit of our earlier Minister Shri Kiren Rijiju ji to our Peripheral Institute in Srinagar. And each year we also observe Unani Day, that is on 11th Feb. This is the screenshot of that, and this is blessed by the dignitaries and VIPs. This is of year 2020. We had organized in Vigyan Bhavan. Usually this is, along with it, we organize international conference or Unani conference and panel discussions with industry and exhibitions also. Our respected Director General welcoming our respected Secretary Ayush. Then this is the glimpse shot of 2019 Unani Day, blessed by the VIPs. This is the foundation stone laying of NIM Ghaziabad. This is our glimpse shot of how our governing body takes place. Visit of our Honorable Secretary and our Director General to Iran delegation to discuss collaboration in the field of Unani medicine. Then this is Secretary Sir's visit to Aligarh. And this is a delegation from United Kingdom visiting our council, and our Director General is welcoming them. This is the upgradation of our National Research Institute, Hyderabad. It was earlier Central Research Institute. This is specific for skin disorders, as I just mentioned. This also inauguration of our MD courses in Srinagar, and our national seminar we organized in IPA. Same here. Recently also we organized a national seminar on intellectual property rights in Hyderabad. This is MOU signing with NIPER, Hyderabad. This is our respected Director General is participating in UDMA. This is the visit of a delegation from World Health Organization to our Literary Research Institute. This is in Jamia Millia Islamia. So we got a delegation from World Health Organization guiding us on the work related to terminologies. Then we are also part of working group meeting for reviewing WHO documents. Then again, a snapshot of the national seminar we could keep on organizing. Then this is the inauguration of our Unani Medical Center at Safdarjung Hospital. Then this is the inauguration of Ayush Wellness Clinic. So these pictures I just showed to have that we have, strong government patronage and strong government support. And to conclude, I can say that traditional medicine can play a pivotal role in promoting health and wellness and achieve the SDG goal 3 for good health and well-being. And the need of the hour is to integrate and co-locate the traditional medicine facilities with the conventional medicine, which we are doing. And being the world leader in Unani medicine, India can offer support to other countries for development of Unani system of medicine. So that's there from my side. I want to stop screen sharing. Stop sharing. So,
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a wonderful session. Thank you so much for taking us through and exposing us to Unani medicine. Could we take some questions with your permission?
Yes, sure.
All right. I would request the participants to raise hand, and we would take questions one by one. Any questions, please? You can also use the chat box to post your questions. Bhumika ji, the session actually has been live streamed. It is available on YouTube.
Okay.
Yes. Any questions, even reflections, thoughts?
Yeah, just meanwhile, we'll wait for questions.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell, that Unani, there's a lot of scope in Unani system of medicine also. It's regulated in the same way as Ayurveda system of medicine. And we have, network of colleges and all. And career can be pursued in this also.
Okay. We have Sagar ji. Could we request Sagar ji to go ahead?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for a nice session. Ma'am, in your program for tribal treatment through Unani, what you describe in your recent slide, do you have any plan for any Unani treatment in a Melghat area of Satpura range, hill range?
Where, sir? Which area?
There are one tribal area where most of the tribals, children and adults nowadays are suffering from the जिसको हम भूखमरी और कुपोषण कहते हैं.
Acha.
So, ma'am, do you have any plan to do something with a Unani for them? As you mentioned in your earlier presentation or earlier slide, that you have some program for tribals, something like that.
Yeah, that is there, and as I mentioned, I cannot comment on planning, but whatever comes as a mandate from ministry and whatever competent authorities decides. So I'm coming from that organization. So that area is selected, mostly wherever peripheral institutes are located. So the area selected from near to those areas. I'm talking from only one aspect. From my council's angle, only coming from that organization. So I cannot comment on the planning aspect.
Definitely, ma'am. If possible, try to concentrate on this area, ma'am, because lots of things happen without a medicine, or if Unani helps them, it will really beneficial for the whole community.
So that is, thank you for your suggestion. This can be conveyed to the competent authorities who take decision.
Please, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. May I ask Rajat ji to go next?
Thank you. Madam, I have two questions. One is on what this black bile and yellow bile correspond to in terms of modern discoveries. Because blood and phloem, they are well understood, but black bile and yellow bile, what they correspond to, that please clarify. Then I'll go to the next.
Actually, we cannot pinpointly tell you that we correspond to this particular humor. For example, yellow bile is there, and in the context which you are understanding blood, it's not like that. So we say there are 4 humors. So if you will see the blood in totality, we'll say 4 humors are present in that. So there's dam, balgam, soda, safra in different quantities. So what we are doing in fundamental research program is we are doing clinical phenotyping and understanding, which kind of temperament is having more fluid. But pinpointly, we cannot say that this particular humor in modern medicine is yellow bile or black bile. So that you have to understand from Unani concept only.
No, but what is the means? Is it a combination of some humors? Means some modern, in terms of modern terminology, whatever we understand, it is not even that.
No, that work is still, it's ongoing. We cannot.
No research into that is on.
That is going on, but still we cannot pinpoint that this particular humor is like that.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Then next is, how does the funding of the central government divide between Ayurveda and Unani?
So that is the part of Ministry of Ayush. That doesn't come under my domain. So here I was talking about Unani medicine and all. So annually they decide, and as per the work allotted to a particular research institute, they allot the funds. That keeps on changing. Yes.
Okay.
And as per demand also.
Yes. No, very nice. Why this question comes? is because Ayurveda is a traditional Indian system, native Indian system, while Unani is foreign to India, but it has established itself and India has become a world leader, a global leader in Unani. So it, although it is not fundamentally part of Indian knowledge system, it has now integrated itself into the Indian knowledge system. Like even allopathic system also we can say is part of Indian knowledge system. If Unani can be Indian knowledge system, why not allopathy? So basically, but by introduction of many systems, the native system seems to have suffered. So that is why this funding question was coming, because allopathy takes most of the funding. We do not have so many Unani hospitals or Ayurvedic hospitals or so much fund pumped into them as we have been pumping into allopathic hospitals and healthcare facilities. So that is why I wanted to know what basically what percentage of the total funding is going into these.
That is available on the website. And
Okay. Thank
as
you.
per my
Thank you,
method,
madam.
I'm more involved in research and other part.
Yes.
Not
Thank
that-
you. Thank you so much, madam.
Khairveer, would you like to go ahead?
Hello, ma'am. It was really interesting to know about Unani. Now, the COVID new variants are coming. Is Unani able to withstand the changing immunities of the micro variants of the COVID virus?
At my level, what I can comment is Unani medicine can help you in maintaining health and improving immunity. So pinpointly, I cannot talk about a particular virus and COVID. So, but yes, we do advise to take care of your health and boosting immunity.
Khairveer, you're on mute. You're on mute, ma'am. Khairveer, you're on.
Now only I was able to unmute. Thanks a lot for this. So only we have to increase our immunity. We are not having for any kind of microorganisms, no?
So we have some anti-infective, I would say, but pinpointly on a particular virus, I cannot say right now.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for a lot for this.
Thank you. So we have one question in chat box from Dr. Sheetal Tang. How is fibrosis on PCOD issues handled in Unani? So that depends, case to case. A person has to visit a particular Unani physician. Then I think it can be answered.
Great. If there are no other questions, yeah, I think that's all. Thank you so much, Dr. Ghazala.